I'm your host, Mari Reesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Ronnie Frey, photographer, author of Doorways of Chicago, tour guide, and social media content creator. Please enjoy Ronnie Frey. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today I'm chatting with Ronnie Frey, photographer, author, tour guide, and social media content creator. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I am thrilled that you are joining me today because I cannot wait to dive into creativity with you. But before we do that, why don't you let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what it is you do?
Sure. So I'm an interior designer by trade, and I did that for most of my adult life and career. But as you know, what happened in 2020, we all got laid off. And I had started about 2 years before that. I had started wandering around Chicago neighborhoods. I was inspired by a Instagram account called Doorways of Paris, which is still exists. She doesn't post anymore, but all of her photos are still there. And their doorways are just so fabulous and colorful. And in Chicago, ours are kind of bland and brick and stone. So I love that. And I just started wandering around. Before I got laid off, I was wandering around in my lunch hour, taking photos of doorways, and I had amassed a huge amount. And I finally decided to start my own account and call it Doorways of Chicago. I even asked her if I could call it Doorways of Chicago, if she cared. We chatted quite a bit behind the scenes. So it really is just a way for me to. It just became a creative outlet and also became my meditation. We can talk about that a little bit more. Ask me about that later. And I just really love it. And the pandemic hit, and I'm so glad I had this pastime of wandering around neighborhoods already. So I was by myself always anyway. That was a perfect thing to do. And I really kind of honed my photography skills during that time. I took 8 trips, believe it or not, during the pandemic, and just to do photography in different cities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my account grew from 5,000 in March when I got laid off to 10,000 in August of that year. So I was kind of like, I think I have something here.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
I love it. Well, like, what an incredible, just, it sounds like such inspiration, the Doorways of Paris aspect, but then kind of making it your own and taking that further into the work that you are currently navigating and doing and sharing with the world and other people. I'm curious, when you think of creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
It's to me, it's about noticing what other people might overlook, and then finding a way to share that with them so they can see it too. So, I walk past the same buildings as everybody else, but the creativity in me is the thing that makes me stop and look closer, and turn doorways into stories because so many of these doorways in Chicago have history behind them.
Yeah.
And so I would find doorways early in the beginning that I was like, what the hell is that? Very, very bizarre looking quirky doorways. And then I would go home and research the address and find out that there's like huge Chicago history attached to this doorway.
Oh,
So
wow.
people, especially during the pandemic, there's one person in particular. Well, first of all, it became a huge social thing for me because I would talk to people in DMs. And this
Mhm.
one woman got stuck downstate, and she was just like, "You saved me during the pandemic."
Oh,
I miss Chicago so much, and I got to see it through your account every day. So super cool to have that kind of an effect.
absolutely. I can appreciate just that aspect of noticing what other people might pass over or gloss over or not pay attention to. And it harkens back to kind of the slowing down that we all
Right.
had to do, and the
Yeah.
being really aware of our surroundings and mindfulness of
Right.
if we are laid off, how do we keep taking those steps forward? And it sounds like this became so much of that for you. I wonder if you could share a little bit about maybe that more mindful aspect or the meditative aspect of this process.
Sure. So I fully did not understand what meditation was. I couldn't grasp the concept. I would be saying, you're going to focus on your breathing and look at something? What does that do for you?
Uh-huh.
And I just fully did not understand it. And then I started reading Eckhart Tolle, who
Ah,
talks a lot about living in the moment. And
yeah.
he really helped me change my life around. I was
Mm.
very slipping into kind of a negative mindset during this time, had a
Mhm.
job that wasn't paying much, struggling. And I just decided through his teachings, like it helped me realize that, I really have control over this and over my mind. And really our thoughts are not who we are. Our mind is not who we are. We're so much more than that.
Mm.
So one day when I went out exploring, it felt like I had been on vacation. I would go out for
Mm.
4 to 6 hours and I would come home and be like, God, I feel like I went on vacation. Just like so inspired and so I don't know, just that feeling that you get, when you're turned off, turn your mind
Mm.
off. And then it hit me one day. This is my meditation. Because when I'm wandering around, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just looking for cool things to photograph, searching
Yeah.
for cool doorways and other architectural features. And it's my meditation. And it's
Mhm.
just really cool how I learned what meditation was through what I was doing.
That's amazing and so
And then
present moment.
right. And then also there's the double meaning of the doorway, a portal into meditation or a portal into a new chapter of your life. And so it all just kind of was like, wow, this is really kind of deep for me.
But the fact that you were present enough to kind of see that deeper meaning, I think oftentimes people, see a photograph or see a piece of architecture or a doorway, and that's all it is. But to
Yeah,
take a deeper meaning,
right.
it really speaks to the willingness to be present with it and
Yeah,
connect to it in a different way than someone who's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Next.
yeah. I had for a while, for a long time I did therapeutic Thursdays.
Ah,
And I would, have a photograph of a doorway that, I don't know, they're all meaningful, but that
mhm.
might be a little bit more ethereal looking or something. And then I would
Mm.
talk about these things that I was experiencing in the text. So it's just a really cool way to like get a message across.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like this version of kind of presence and appreciation and awareness happened during the pandemic. Let's go back a little before, maybe longer than a little before the pandemic, to your first experience of creativity. Do you remember what that was? What was it?
yeah.
And how does that show up in your life today?
So I've always been drawn to places and spaces.
Mm,
Even as a kid, I remember like noticing how places felt.
yeah.
I would rearrange my room. I grew up on a farm, and my mom must have thought I was crazy, but she didn't. But I would just be like, I'm just so unlike any other kid. I felt like, and I would rearrange my room once a week.
I love
And
that.
I would, you know, I would like, I was into fashion too, so I would like clip out clippings of fashion from men's magazines and make collages on a
Hmm.
bulletin board in my room. And I would build, I love Legos, so I would build,
Yeah.
and there were no kits back then.
Right.
It was just art.
Yeah. Just the
So I would,
bricks. Yeah.
right, out of my imagination, I would build houses and mansions out of these parts and pieces. And I remember coming to Chicago. Our family we were like an hour and a half south of Chicago, so we came here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you in the Marshall Field store, which is now Macy's, exactly where the Legos were located. I remember specifically in the store. I'd be like, I'm getting more doors and windows and rooftops.
I love it. That's amazing.
That I was very much a perfectionist, so I would cut the grass like on an angle and make these paths out on our farm. And I would try to plant the straightest rows in the county when I was planting crops. It's really weird how you
But
get that in you, like from the very beginning, It's bizarre.
yeah. I mean, and it sounds like it really speaks to how things show up in your life today. Maybe you've let go a little rigidity of the perfection piece,
Yeah, I
but
have. I
yeah.
took some pills.
They can help. They definitely help. Yeah.
No, I worked on it a lot mentally too, and it really is very interesting how that all affects what you do for sure. I didn't even know I could take a photograph,
Mm,
but I think when you train your eye in one art, it kind of overlaps into another.
yeah.
So my late roommate was the one that said, you should do something with this. Like you have something. And I'm like, really? She says, yeah, I've looked at these buildings all my life. I've never seen them like this. And then I
Wow.
was like, I said, oh, I stood up. I don't get it. Well, she was like, this is going to be huge. I'm like, it is? And I go, I just look at something and take a picture of it in 2 seconds. She goes, that's the whole idea. You have a gift. Pretty
It's
cool.
amazing when other people see it before we do
Right,
to have we need some cheerleaders sometimes to
right. She
say,
was my
no,
biggest cheerleader for
you're
sure.
on to something. Like
Yeah,
keep going with this. This is going to
right.
be important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as how you have photographed so many doorways, I'm curious, what are the doorways that make you feel the most at home?
Well, that's a good question. I've never thought about that really. I get asked a lot what was my favorite doorway, and it's like,
Yeah.
how are you expect me to answer that? The ones that I really like the most are the quirky ones.
Okay.
Um, there's one over in Uptown, and it's the SNA Studios. This is an early movie
Hmm.
uh, production company here in Chicago. It was George Spoor and Gilbert Anderson. Gilbert Anderson was Bronco Billy, and they started this company, SNA, which was the combination of the initials of their last two names, SNA, but it
Hmm.
was spelled ESSANAY, SNA. And
Okay.
George Spoor was the one that did the first magnascope projector, which was able to
Oh,
project 35 millimeter onto a large screen.
wow.
They founded Charlie Chaplin, Gloria Swanson, and Chaplin starred in and directed about 16 of their silent films. They were black and white, remember? Well, maybe you
Hmm.
don't, but I mean, we know about it.
Yes, we know they were
Trivia
there.
about it. We all remember. And so then they eventually moved to California, but that all started here. The doorway is so quirky, got Indian head logos on either side, and it's got the S and A, and it's kind of on an angle, and it sticks away out from the building about 3 feet.
Hmm.
And I walked by it, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I took a picture of it because it was quirky and cool.
Yeah.
And then I came back and researched and found out all this amazing history, and it's actually part of my Old Town walking
Hmm.
tour now because George Spoor lived in Old Town. So I don't know. It's just I just find it fascinating, and the quirk really gets me.
What is it
you know, I,
about the quirk that lights you up?
I mean, it's just so unique, and it's
Mhm.
like I wonder how many people have walked on the street and just never looked at that.
Yeah.
So the book and what I do is just a message to people to slow down, get off your phones, look up, and notice the
Yeah.
cool architecture that we have in this city that really is just so full of history and story. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's incredible. I love hearing the story behind the architecture and the pieces that make up a quirky doorway. And
Yeah,
yeah, and how it makes you feel. I mean, as you're talking about it, I feel like I'm kind of transported there. I can see how the words are and the Indian head pieces, and I can imagine what it looks like, having never seen it
yeah,
myself
yeah.
in this. But
a really
Yeah.
cool thing happened on one of my tours. This lady came on the tour, the Old Town tour, and I was telling this story. She said, uh, Mary Louise Score was George Score's sister, and she used to do illustrations for Rand McNally in his children's books before he did maps and atlases.
Oh,
And she was the one that designed the Indian head logos on the SNA doorway that it took a picture of years before my tour started. And this was this woman's grandmother. And I was just like, oh my God,
full
it's
circle
so cool.
moment. That's
Yeah, and I always wondered
amazing.
what the Indian head logos were, but it's just because, we have a lot of tie to the Indian, Chicago has, Indian heritage, obviously.
Hmm.
So that's probably why she put the logos
Wow.
she put the Indian heads in their logo. So it's
Yeah.
just really cool, the full circle kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what does it mean for you to have all of this body of work, these photographs of doorways collected into one place that you get to share with people? What does that mean
I
to
mean,
you?
it's amazing. I remember pitching this to Trope, the publisher. They had asked me, they did a book on the Fine Arts Building, which is where my studio is,
Hmm.
work studio. And they asked me if they could use a photograph of mine of one of the places in the building. And so I gave them the photo, and then I was sitting here going, you should ask them if they want to do a book.
Yeah.
And I almost did it because of the inner saboteur thing. And I'm
Mm.
like, what the hell's wrong with you? Just write the email. The worst that can happen is they say no. So I wrote them an email and said, I think you should do a Doorways of Chicago book. And they wrote back and said, you're reading my mind.
Don't you love when
So
that happens?
yeah, I really do. And then we went back and forth. I had to submit some photographs and submit the project. And then they asked for some more photographs a couple of times. And then they said, how many do you have? And I said, how many do you need? Because I probably have that many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
And then it
goodness.
became a reality. Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's amazing. And, recognizing that inner saboteur, I think we all have one. And, does he kind of mm, get activated or show up more than you want? And how do you navigate that? Like, how do you work with that inner saboteur?
I mean, so I'm a big RuPaul Drag Race fan, and RuPaul talked about that a lot. And
Mm.
one of his things is uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And so I just decided to care less about what people thought of me and just go for it.
Mm.
And he talks about that a lot, about just going for it and letting yourself loose. And so that just kind of, he talks about it on every episode, really.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like drives it home, you know what I'm saying? And it
Hmm.
really just is in the back of my mind all the time. And I can catch myself now when I start listening to the inner saboteur.
Hmm.
And I actually named my inner saboteur in true RuPaul Drag Race style.
I
It's
love it.
I was sitting in a restaurant with my friend Katie. We were trying to name our inner saboteur, and the restaurant's name was Nora. And I go, I don't know what I would call mine. She goes, well, it'll come to you. Just think about it. I looked up and I saw the sign of the restaurant that said Nora. I said, I got it. It's Ignore a Bitch.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
And then I said, well, mine's female, so like yours has to be male. So we named hers Leaf, Leif. Leave me alone.
Brilliant. Pure brilliance. I love the creativity and I love just the humor and the light, like turning something that many people find very draining and very heavy into this lightness that you can have some joy around, and it can be humorous, and it's not
Yeah.
always the part of us that's there to be mean or
Yeah,
keep
and
us
now since
from
we did that, we talk about those names all the time, and one or the other of us is like getting into that moment.
ah,
It's so cool.
amazing. Yes,
Yeah,
it is to have someone to say like, hold on, who am I
yeah.
talking to right now?
It's a rhyme or is ignore it.
Yeah. I love it. Well, for people who are looking to start their own photography journey or just their own creative journey, what what would you encourage them to do?
I mean, I'm going to speak about it from my what I do,
Yeah.
but just start by paying attention. I guess
Mm,
that's the biggest thing. Um, that's like I talked about before. The phone thing is just really an issue in our society. No one talks to anyone anymore, and so I just try to engage with people everywhere I go. And you really don't need to be an artist to be creative. You just need to
mhm.
notice things and stay curious. Um, my the way that I go about exploring is I don't have a plan. I just go into a neighborhood and I let the day pull me through. If I see an alley that looks cool, I'll walk down an alley because I found a lot of cool things in alley.
I
I
bet.
found a sign. I found a sign in Bronzeville in an alley, painted red, bright red, and it says, "Please, no pissing here. Police order." And it's old.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the hell? And I took a picture of it, and it's one of my top selling images.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So, I mean, I think creativity is not just reserved for creative people. It's kind of like something that everyone can tap into.
Yeah.
Um, and it gives them, if they just give themselves permission to slow down and, like look at things differently.
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest is get out and explore. For me, I mean, it doesn't have to be looking for doorways, but just uh, anything.
Mhm.
There's a guy in Chicago, one of my friends that has an account called Brick of Chicago, and he does tours too and talks all about bricks. I mean, think about like how did you come up with that? You know what I mean? And a
Yeah.
lot of people just say, like, how did you come up with doorways? And I just think because I'm an interior designer, I've always loved cool doorways,
Yeah.
and I've seen cool doorways a lot in my experience as a designer. So
Mm.
I don't know, I just always have loved them and just decided to make it my thing. So I think everyone just needs to find, what really turns them on and
Yeah.
uh, grab onto it.
I love that. And so now when you travel, are you like always noticing doorways or?
Oh yeah, can't wait to go to Peru and see the ones in Peru.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I bet there's going to be some spectacular doorways to be found and
Yeah,
amazing
and this is
adventures.
my first global tour. It's happening in a week. I have 9 people going with me, so I'm pretty excited.
That's so incredible. Well, this has been such a fantastic conversation. I have one last question for you.
Sure.
What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
I mean, it's the fuel that keeps me going.
Mm.
And sometimes I don't always feel creative, and if I ever feel stuck, I either just don't create. I just
Mhm.
create when I feel creative,
Yeah.
or I'll go out and take a walk, and that always just like completely like turns it around. So it really is. I feel blessed that I
Yeah.
have that creativity, because I can't imagine being in this world that we live in without it.
I hear that and absolutely agree. Yes. Well, thank you, Ronnie, so much for taking the time to join me and chat about your upcoming book, Doorways of Chicago, and all of the creative pieces you have in your life. If people want to learn more about your work and your book, how could they go about doing that?
So a number of ways. My website is doorwaysofchicago.com. I have information about the book. You can pre-order it right now. And also I have prints and greeting cards. I make a lot of my images into greeting cards because I do my own printing. So there's those for
Amazing.
sale. I have some merchandise and a little bit about myself on there and how this all came to be. And then my Instagram account is also Doorways of Chicago.
Mhm.
So you can find me there. And my walking tours are also listed on my website. So if people are in Chicago or coming to Chicago, you can find the tour listings on there. I have 6 different tours in the city, different
Amazing.
neighborhoods, and a couple downtown, and one of the fine arts building, which I'm in because there's incredible history here. So yeah, those are the ways to reach me.
Perfect. Well, I will put links in show notes so people have very easy access. And
Cool.
thank you again for taking the time to join me. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.